So guys, it's your boy Nav here. Another video today. So today I decided not to go out. So today I didn't feel like going outside. Usually most of the vlogs that I usually make it outside. I usually go out for a walk and I would start my vlogging, but today I decided to, maybe start to vlog in no, it's not my room actually, but in one of the rooms in my house. Not gonna say whose room is this, but yeah. And today I'll be making a video right now is that I'm 22 and I still don't have my driver's license yet. And why as a 22-year-old, so from as I was growing up, why I always relied my transportation on public transportation. So a bit about me when it comes to driving. So I'm 22 and I still don't have my driver's license. As a 22-year-old, I just want to first of all say that I always had a fear of driving. I always had a fear. I always had a fear, if I'm ever gonna get into any fucking car accidents, ticket, getting pulled over by the cops, getting my what else impacted, getting towed. I was always scared if getting a parking lot ticket, paying the fees. So I was always, I always had this fear inside. For me it's like, what's the point of having a driver's license if you know that these things are going to happen? It's a pretty common thing, to get your car towed if you haven't parked at a certain time. Your car gets towed, you got to pay them back. And this is the main reason why I always relied on public transportation. Why? Because the cost is cheap. Here in Montreal, Quebec, where I live, we use the STM bus, and I know in Laval I've used their bus transportation as well. It's called the STL bus, and the Opus here for a monthly pass costs $60. I don't know how much it costs in the one in Laval STL. I don't know, but it usually costs $60 for an Opus pass. The company called in Montreal for bus transportation, if you're somebody that doesn't live in Montreal or Canada, it's called the STM. And the cards that we use for our public transit is called the Opus card. Opus. And yeah, it's the Opus it's usually given it's given by the school where you go to school at, whether it's trade school, university, CJAP, etc., etc. Doesn't matter where, what type of school, work. I don't know if jobs give an Opus paper where you can go to the Opus center, the STM center, where you can renew your Opus, change your Opus. Doesn't matter what you do. And yeah, we use Opus cards here in Montreal. Opus cards, we scan it for the RAM that is being made. Well, it's been made. Oh, I have been to the RAM, the one in downtown, but I haven't been to the RAM, the one that's near my house. There's a RAM that's being built near my house. I don't know how long it's gonna take for it to be built. And Opus is used for the city buses, the metros, the new RAM, the RAM. It's used for basically all over Montreal. If you're someone that is out of Montreal, such as Brossard, Laval, any other city that is near Montreal, your Opus doesn't count. You got to use another form of bus transportation card, or the best thing to do usually. But I would not recommend. I would rather you save before you go to another city nearby Montreal. It's good to bring change with you, just as a way to get all the tickets and everything else. Or it's buzz. And what's even better, and if you're fortunate, is if you have a car. If you have a car, that's also fortunate to have if you want to go to another city nearby Montreal. But because in life everything has its pros and cons. Cars has its pros and cons. The train system has its pros and cons. The metro has its pros and cons. The bus has its pros and cons. There's always going to be some type of cons that is going to limit your opportunity when it comes to transportation. So today I'll be talking about like why I'm 22 and I still haven't had my driver's license yet. And as you can tell, I am working on my driver's license right now while I'm taking the test. So the average age usually for getting your driver's license is the age of 16. Usually at age 16, as soon as people sorry, they had a power outage. Not power outage, they had my battery was about to die on my phone. So usually by age 16, usually people go and get their first driver license. But I believe in my generation of Gen Z. So as y'all can tell, I'm Gen Z. The type of generation I am from is Gen Z. And by the time a kid turns 16, he usually goes in to get his driver's license. I didn't got my driver's license. I didn't start my driver's but I didn't start my driver's license until the age of 20. So until the age of 20, I didn't start my driver's license. I was scared. It was fear of driving. It was, all the consequences that comes with it. Sorry about my language. And it was fear. And on top of that, you want to know what else was it? It was also the COVID-19 pandemic that ruined my opportunity in me getting my driver's license. And I know not a lot of people from my generation are like getting driver's license nowadays because of how I don't know how to say this, but because of how how times have become nowadays. More and more people are relying on public transportation, just like how I am. Do I have any regrets not starting my driver's license at 16? No, I do not. I was at that time I wasn't really that prepared. I wasn't both mentally, physically, and emotionally ready for one. But now it's like I'm getting there, I'm more focused, more mature in getting my license now than getting it before. Before I wasn't that mature to get those type of things at 16. I wasn't really ready at 16, to be real. I was when I was 16, I was actually struggling in school at the time. I'm not going to tell you what subject I struggled in. I'll talk about this some other day in my video. And yeah, I started at 20 my driver's license, and now looking back at it, I have both. Yeah, I do regret too. YouTube video. It's a YouTube video. Yeah. So sorry, it's like. Yeah, no, I can. Sorry, guys. My younger brother just pops in the room. And yeah, so I didn't start my license till age of 20, and but like I said, every driver's license has every car, every I don't know how to say this. Yeah, close the door, bro. Yeah. Every driver's license, like I said, I know I've repeat so much, has its pros and its cons. I don't know what else to say, but I do have a kind of regrets why I didn't start at 16 because, school difficulties. And on top of that, when I was 16 was also the age. You see, 16 was a very difficult age for me. Like at age 16, yeah, so usually 16 is usually the age people start to get their driver's license, start to work, start to look for a job, start to try their best to finish their school, just to go to college. Yep, at 16, I did apply for my first job, but I didn't got my first job. I applied at a place, and I didn't got the job right away. I was 16 when I first applied for a job, and next thing you know, I didn't got a job. I applied at many places, and usually whenever it comes to any jobs, they usually hire someone who are more in need compared to any 16, 17-year-old. So yeah, I didn't have any I didn't have any experience in working as a teen. The only experience I had was volunteering. That's the only thing I had. I didn't have my first job until the age of 17, turning 18. So just turned 18, I had my first job. And telling you, the work, there was a time getting a job was so easy. And not getting a job nowadays, it's super hard. But we'll get to this topic some other day. But yeah, so talking about driving, the main topic of this video, as you can tell, I go a bit off topic sometimes during my videos, is why still I haven't had my driver's license yet. Number one is, first of all, it's the fear. My biggest fear growing up as a teen, because you see people that knew me growing up, they always used to annoy me at age 15. Oh, you're 15. Have you ever started your driver's? Have you ever started your driver's license yet? Have you ever started your driver's? I was scared. I was scared, like for me, it was more like, what's the point driving a car when, what's the point driving a car when there's so much car accidents happening on the road? There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of car accidents. There's a lot of highway accidents. Why there's a lot of things. Why there's a lot of I don't know what to say, but why there's a lot of people in the cars, fighting each other, hating each other, why there's a lot of brawls happening during the car accidents, they always would have some type of people, fighting each other in the car. Why they would have a lot of people, just honking at each other, hating on each other. And it was always a fear. On top of that was the fear of death, that was one of the other reasons why, like, I always had a fear. It was basically all the worst that can happen while you drive, and one of them was death. I didn't want it to die, because when you're on the road, you're risking your life. Same thing applies to the motor vehicle. I know most people that I've known, they have fully completed their license by around the age as I'm doing, but I'm telling you, driving is not for everyone. I'm going to tell you this right now. Driving is not for everyone. Driving is not for everyone. Not everybody, has that motivation, to just wake up one day and just start, wanting to learn how to drive. I don't like, but first of all, I just want to say I don't like this society, like Canadian society, American society, the way how it is, like the opportunities, this, that. Like, I don't like this country. There's too much you gotta do just to be considered, to fit in or get accepted. There's so much in this life you gotta do in this country just to fit in and get accepted. There's so much. But it does ruin you as you get older. It does start to ruin you. And yeah, there's always something you gotta do to prove this country. I don't like this country. There's so much you have to do just to get accepted, just to be respected by others. Yeah, so I'm not trying to go off topic, but the number one reason was fear. The second reason why I haven't had my driver's license yet, it's because of the amount of money you have to pay to just get your first fucking car. It's the amount of money you gotta pay. just to get your first fucking car. Something I never liked. And on top of, yeah, and especially living in an economy where the economy is doing so bad, both physically and mentally and financially, nowadays, the economic crisis is getting that bad. Trump is literally ruining not just America and also both Canada because of whatever's going on in politics. The prices have gone high, and the more the prices are going to go high, less and less people are going to university. More and more people are struggling with mental health. Less and less people are going to less and less people are going to CJEPs. Less and less people are going outside nowadays because the economy is just getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know when there's going to be a day where our economy is going to be good. The society is collapsing. And, yeah. Well, what else I was going to say? What else I was going to say is, the cost of cars is so expensive to the point that you just don't want to drive anymore. You just don't have the motivation and the inspiration, to drive. And now I know a lot of y'all are gonna either shame me, oh, now you're 22, still don't have your driver's license. Oh, now you're still young because you're still young. You can get your driver's license. I want to tell you right now, it doesn't matter if you shame me or not. I don't really give that much of a fuck. If you have your license or not. It's this car thing, whatever relationship thing, these type of things always used to piss me off. And I know a lot of people from my generation, Gen Z, are like that. It does make us angry, that like we sadly live in a society that's filled with a bunch of things that you just have to complete just in order to get accepted. And yeah, I'm telling you, I'm struggling with the third test that I'm doing right now. It's on road and safety. I'm still struggling. Man, I always hated this society. I always hated it. Hated. And yeah, so going back into the third topic is so the second one was the cost of car. Nowadays you're gonna see in the future one day. You're gonna see in the future one day, less and less cars are gonna be on the highway in the next coming years. Watch. Less and less cars are gonna be in the highway in the next coming years. Watch. Getting a car is not what it used to be back in the day compared to it today. It's not what it is. Back in the 70s and 80s, people would get crazy over getting a car. Nowadays, our generation, my generation, Gen Z, we're not excited. Neither we want to work, neither we want to get a car, neither we want to be in relationships. We just have these, small group of friends that you hang out with, and that's all. Crappy world we live in. I don't like this world. I'm telling you, I never liked this world. There's so much, society's expectations you gotta follow just to fit in. Because if you don't follow, you don't fit in, people won't like you and all that. Nobody gives a fuck. Who cares? Nobody cares. But this one of the third reasons why I just never liked, well, my second reason, I beg your pardon, was because of the costs just to get a car. And then people shame me and other people, oh, you just don't want to work hard. You don't want to work hard. I don't give a fuck. What is hard work? Fuck hard work. Hard work what? Hard work what? What? Stupid words that have been brainwashing my brain since I was growing up. Hated it. And I'm not gonna lie, stupid world we live in. Telling you cost some money. Oh yeah, get a car. Yeah, also get a car and get into all the fucking consequences with the fucking law. Third reason why I still haven't got my driver's license yet. The third reason why I still haven't got my driver's license yet. There's 5 reasons why I don't have a driver's license. The third reason why I don't have my driver's license yet is because I have no clue. It's probably due to society's pressure, society's expectation to pressure you into getting a license. I know you've already heard me say many times, I don't like society. Society just makes me want to just hate my life even more. I stopped following society's expectations at the age of 17. All society does, it just lowers the self-esteem of the person. It destroys the self-esteem. It destroys the confidence. It destroys everything. Destroys literally every single thing. Me personally, I hated when people constantly shame you for a thing that you haven't accomplished yet. None of your business. It's none of your business if I've accomplished the thing or not. It's none of your business. There was a time a lot of people used to, you want to know what people used to shame me a lot about? My height. There was a time, I know I've already made a video about this. There was a time a lot of people used to shame me over my height. I got tall, and as I got tall, I'll admit, in my life, I've probably seen so many people, rather in the metro or outside, where they're not even at the average height where I'm from, and they're living a better life than I am. They're living a better life than I am. They're in relationships, and I'm not. I get a bit jealous when I see those type of things. This life, I never liked this life. I always hated it, even as a kid. So, I used to be a very overly sensitive kid in school because due to the fact that I hated school, a lot of people got annoyed. Still, people are kind of annoyed from who I am, but I don't really give that much of a fuck because as you get older, you don't give a shit. I always hated this life. For me, it's more last year, for example, I almost died. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm doing fine right now. But I never liked this life. The way how this life was designed, the way how this world is designed, the way how fucking, whatever, this society's designed, I don't like it. It's a stupid world we live in. Do I have friends and all? Yeah, I do have my group of friends, who are able to understand me deeply and emotionally and critically, and also sympathetically. But I don't like the way how this world is designed. The way how the world is designed, hate it. The way how society is designed, hate that too. The way how relationships are, hate that too. I don't like anything in this world. I pretty much hate every single thing in this fucking world. Going from fucking politics to fucking economics to fucking finance to fucking psychology, everything. The way how this world, the way how the society is designed, fucking hate it. Every single bit of it. I just fucking hate. Oh, get a car by that age. At 16, you should be getting your license. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. I'm just finishing it right now. You know why I'm finishing my driver's license now? Because I don't want to be complaining at 26 like I'm complaining at 22. So I just want to get this thing fucking over with and just live my life. But it's all good. You know why I don't regret starting right now at 22? Because most people who start their license at age 16, so if you got your license at 16, yeah, good for you. Also, fuck you at the same time. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, good for you that you got your license at 16, but also fuck you. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck if you have a license. If you got your license at 16, good. Good to hear. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit. Yeah, if you got your license at 16, good for you, but also fuck you. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody. And if you're that type of guy that flexes his car on Instagram, everything else, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit. Let me just tell you right now, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Flexing nowadays is becoming old. I remember back when I was in school growing up, everybody used to flex on all the stupid things. Stupid, yeah. You really think people give a fuck about you? No, nobody gives a fuck. In this world, nobody gives a fuck about you in this world. Nobody does. You have to give a fuck. You gotta give a fuck about yourself instead. You know? Like, nobody cares. I'm telling you, nowadays, relationships, getting a car, fucking, what else? Working, going to school, going to uni, it's all getting fucking overrated. In the next coming years, a lot of people are just gonna be like, yeah, what is uni? Nothing. Just a garbage. Yeah, getting a shitty piece of paper where it's not gonna lead you to anything. Yeah, you really think that you're gonna get a fucking job after? No, a lot of people are gonna be getting out of their fucking jobs, you know? Especially labor market. You really think people like working all these labor jobs? No, they don't. That's why I'd rather be my own boss, you know, YouTube, and all that. And by the way, this video is not a fucking rant. It's just I'm mad. I'm a bit mad. You know, after all these bullshit I've went through in my life. And yeah, I fuck society. I'm telling you right now, fuck society, fuck this world. Every fucking thing of it, I just fucking hate. Am I an antisocial guy? No, I don't have antisocial personality. I don't. Maybe growing up I did, but I do not. I do not. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine and healthy. Just mental health problems that I have. And yeah, it's all because of society's expectations. But yeah, what was I was gonna say? I was gonna talk about if anybody got their license at 16, I want to say, yeah, good for you. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit. But you are missing out a lot on public transportation. You know, you're missing out a lot on, you know, not taking the school bus, not taking the city bus, not taking the metro, not taking the ram, not taking the train. You're missing out on a lot. You know, so if you're somebody that still haven't have your driver's license yet, I just want to say, don't beat yourself up, because you at least experience what it's like being in a school bus, in a public city bus, the metro, the ram, the train, you know. So just be grateful you were able to experience the public transportation instead of you getting a car right away, because most people who get their cars right away, they regret it. They regret, oh, why didn't I wait at a certain age when I'm both physically and emotionally ready to get a car? So there's no reason for really you to regret, you know. But at age 22 now, it's really starting to hit me, so that's why I'm doing my license now. I just want to get it fucking over with, you know. And yeah, it's society's expectations. And number 4, the main reason why I still haven't had my driver's license yet is because of the pressure growing up people put me. The more pressure you put on the person, the less likely he or she is going to do it. And sometimes it's the opposite. Some people, they get so pressured, they fall into the peer pressure of others to the point that they I don't know what's the right word to say, but they end up falling into that trap. Me, have I ever been peer pressured? Yes, I have been peer pressured for, you know, losing my virginity. Been there, you know, but people have pressured me to have sex. Never got into any trap, never fell into any of that trap. Have I been peer pressured to smoke? Yep, been there. Alcohol, been there. And yeah, but the virginity part, yes, I have. I have been peer pressured to have sex, but we'll get this to another topic. But it didn't really affect me that much. I didn't fall into the trap. I just ended up standing up for myself and distance myself from those people who do peer pressure me, and etc. I've been there, and yeah, it's the peer pressure of driving, and a lot of people in society think that's a good type of peer pressure. You know, you should peer pressure your friends to getting a drive, to getting a car, getting your driver's license, you know, or to drive. Yeah, I know at the beginning of the sentence I said peer pressure to drive. I mean to getting it. What I really meant was getting a driver's license. Yeah, they do peer pressure you into getting a driver's license. No, That's the wrong thing to do. You don't know the consequences that's going to happen if you rush right away into driving. So that's the fourth reason why I'm 22 and I still haven't got my driver's license. Because peer pressure, I'm telling you, if you're somebody that ever peer pressures someone to do something that they're not ready for, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. You're going to fucking regret it. You're going to regret it for the rest of your fucking life. Fifth reason why I still haven't had my driver's license. The fifth reason why I still haven't had my driver's license yet, it's constantly because this time the peer pressure in the family. So since the age of 15, I've been pressured a lot in my life. It never affected me in my life. So at the age of 15, a lot of people in my family, they peer pressured me. So since the age of 14, 15, sorry, I beg your pardon, sorry for my burp, but a lot of them peer pressured me into not having a license. Not having a license at, 14, 15. They've been peer pressuring me since the age of 14 and 15 to get a license. Yeah, you really think a 14-year-old is gonna, like, listen to what you say and get their license? No, this is not how you're supposed to be training your kid. This is not how you're supposed to be teaching the kid. Later on, that kid is gonna end up in fucking depression. I'm telling you, most kids who get their license early, they fall into depression. They fall into anxiety. They fall into deep depression. There's also a thing called deep depression. You gotta visit a bunch of psychiatrists, psychologists, just for their mental health to be good. I'm telling you, it doesn't lead to any good. None of it. So, and as a guy who has struggled with mental health and who is still struggling with mental health right now currently, I'm glad I haven't got it yet, because I haven't got my driver's license yet. Why? You know why I haven't got my driver's license yet? Because I know if I got my driver's license early, I would fall into deep depression. I would get into more car accidents and more fucking I don't know what's the right word to say, but more fucking incidents with the police, which I want to avoid. Everything happens at the right age, so stop panicking. When it really starts to hit you, then start to think. Like this year really hit me that I still haven't had my driver's license yet, so that's why I'm starting right now at 22. Stop following society's expectations. Listen to yourself, and you will go ahead in life compared to other people. Just because other people go to college doesn't mean you have to go to college. Just because other people have their driver's license does not mean you have to get your driver's license. You don't have to follow what the crowd does. You got to follow yourself. So you got to listen to yourself. You got to know what you like to do. Anyways, I'm going to end this video right here. Nav hair out. Take care. Peace.